Death Wish, Dirty Harry, Rocky, Resident Evil, and now Die Hard. What do all these movie franchises have in common? Well, it's easy. They were hugely successful, they went on far too long, and unfortunately, they all reached a fifth movie. This is my review of A Good Day to Die Hard, or Die Hard 5 for short. This movie is directed by John Moore, who previously directed Max Payne. This movie stars Bruce Willis and Jai Courtney. About a year ago, when I heard they were making another Die Hard, I was like, well, they don't have to, but Die Hard 4 was okay. And then I found out the tagline, and I was immediately like, well, that's stupid, but I guess they're trying to keep with the whole Die Hard thing. And then I found out it was going to be rated R. So I was like, alright, there's hopes for it yet. And Bruce Willis was good in Expendables 2, so this should be good, right? Well, I saw Die Hard 5. You ever like a movie and you consider it a classic, like Indiana Jones, and I guess for the youngsters now, Men in Black, even Godfather, and they're good films. And then sequels are made. Okay, well, take all those movies I just mentioned, and the ones at the beginning of the video. Think of how the recent sequels in those series stack up to the original. After I finish a sequel and it's so bad, my only question is, why? Now don't tell me, oh, it's for the money, because that's a cop-out. But when you take something like Die Hard, it's changed the way action movies are made, and the latest sequel becomes that of something that's not the standard in action movies, but actually below the standard. I'm just confused. I don't know what to say to that. Since the way I'm going to be describing this movie is going to be reiterated just in different words and forms, let me just say this right out. Let me say it first. This was not a Die Hard movie. It had Die Hard in the title, and it had a character named John McClane, but besides that last name and Bruce Willis being in it, you couldn't tell. It had, I want to say, one likeness and one bit of relevance to the rest of the movies, but that was his catchphrase. And for all of you that are like, oh, but it's rated R, so we get to hear it. Yeah, let me talk about that first. This movie is rated R, yes. So you're expecting, so you saw the trailer, maybe you're expecting, the girl in the trailer, to get naked, maybe some nudity, a lot of curse words, a lot of violence, right? No. Even the rating was a letdown, in the sense that, yeah, there's some F words, there's about 3 or 4 of them, but it's just said when, Bruce Willis gets all frustrated and angry. It's like, it more or less slips out than him, making it count. He says Jesus Christ tons of times. And then violence. There's no blood in this movie whatsoever. Now, don't get me wrong, there is blood when they get scratched and cut on their face and on their torso, okay. But if you're expecting blood splatter, maybe like Expendables type stuff, no. The only time there's blood is when people get shot in the head, but that only happens twice. Once, up close, second time, by a sniper. But even then, it's just, you know what it's like, just blood spotting out the other side, that's it. And yes, the famous catchphrase, yippee-ki-yay, it's said in this movie. But I remember a time when yippee-ki-yay, mother effer, was said either right before John McClane was going to outsmart the bad guy and pull one over on him, or right after he killed the bad guy. Kind of like, I got you. But when you use that catchphrase, when no one else is around to hear it, And when you use that catchphrase, joining that with a joke about what parents do for their kids, it just becomes pointless. It becomes less of, you know, a catchphrase like, haha, screw you, bad guy, and more of like just him thinking out loud. But even then, it was like the droids in the Star Wars prequels. Why would the droids say that stuff out loud and not just think it? It just totally surprised me, and I was actually pissed off after he said the line, because I was like, there's no way this movie's going to get any better. I mean, that's not to say it was bad already, but... Now, let me get on to the acting. Bruce Willis as John McClane didn't work. Didn't work at all. There were no witty jokes. There was not him, you know, getting frustrated at stuff. Yeah, he laughed a couple times, but John McClane wasn't there. Bruce Willis was. Just Bruce Willis. When Die Hard 4 came out, you know, I was like, oh, he shaved his head, doesn't look like John McClane, but, you know, he had the gun in the holster. You know, he would make the jokes and laugh and curse. Okay, it was believable. Yeah, he jumped out of a jet or whatever, but still, I bought it. In this movie, no, not at all. If it wasn't for his last name, I wouldn't have known that's John McClane. I thought it would just be Bruce Willis playing maybe the same character he played in Expendables, mixed with the older guy from 16 Blocks, put together, you know, just aged a bit. That's it. Because Bruce Willis nowadays, now that he's older, he looks the same in all his movies. There's nothing that really distinguishes him. Same thing here. You just have Bruce Willis. You have Bruce Willis commenting on stuff. You have Bruce Willis getting angry and yelling at stuff. You don't have John McClane. And so because of that, he just acts like a tourist in this movie. Granted, he's never been to Russia before, but his son is the one that takes the lead, Jai Courtney, who, for me, kind of resembled John McClane, so I liked that about him. But other than that, he talks so much more than John McClane does. He seems like to be the leader. John McClane just, hey, where are we going next, son? What's next? I don't know what's going on. I'm going to follow you. You're the leader. He wasn't the leading man in this movie. He was like Denzel Washington in Safe House. People can say, oh, no, Denzel and Ryan Reynolds had the same amount of screen time. No, they didn't. It was a Ryan Reynolds movie with Denzel Washington. Unfortunately, this seemed like a Jai Courtney movie with Bruce Willis. And that's a real, real shame. As far as the villains go in this movie, you don't care. You just want the movie to get better. You just want, you know, Bruce Willis to say something funny or to make you go, okay, now it's Die Hard again. But no. The whole time I was watching this movie, no joke, I was waiting for the yippee-ki-yay line. That's it. That's the only reason why I didn't walk out of this movie. Because I was like, alright, he's going to say it. He's going to say it. This movie was Taken 2 all over again. You're expecting so much from this movie. You're going to be like, oh, this movie's going to be so badass. Oh, it's going to be awesome. Wait, what? What? What's all the special effects? Where's the violence? What are they doing? What are they jumping out of? What are they jumping into? Oh, okay. You're going to end the movie like this? What's with all the shaky cam? This movie was a mess. Because of that, rating of a 1 to a 5, I'm going to give A Good Day to Die Hard a 2. This movie was bad. About a year ago, I remember talking to my buddy, and I said this exactly. I said, hey, Nick, you know what they should do if they make another Die Hard movie? Since it's not going to be that good, I'm sure, because Bruce Willis is older. Do this. Have a scene, like in the movie Maverick with Mel Gibson. Have a scene where Bruce Willis is walking through an airport or something, and Sam Jackson walks by. And have either a scene where they both look at each other and nod, or have a scene where Sam Jackson, you know, just turns around like, is that the one I think it was? Something like that. I mean, this movie was so bad. They should have just had, you know, the bad guy be a relative of Hans Gruber. That's just how big of a mess this movie was. So, don't go see this unless you're a die-hard fan. Actually, no, not even that. If you like the other movies, good. Cherish that. Don't go see this because it's got me so disappointed. Till next time, guys. See ya.